Now, just before we go, we want to take you back to 1982 once again and present those final words that Dr. Dobson shared when we first aired this broadcast. He read a poem that meant quite a bit to him, and I think will mean a lot to you as well. And Gil Meggerly got those final moments started in this way.
Dr. Dobson, we come to the end of two fascinating days on the subject of astronomy, and I know you have a way of bringing it to an end that is equal in fascination to what's preceded it.
Gil, I want to close the program today by reading a poem which we've had in our family since I was a small child. In fact, my father used to read this poem to me when I was a boy, and it's very, very old. The author was supposedly a woman named Mother Shipton, who was a prophetess who lived before Columbus discovered America, and I understand died 43 years before Columbus discovered America. She's kind of a mystery figure in history. You can go to the library and find material written on her, but not an awful lot is known about her. So I can't attest to where she got her information by which she prophesied. And I can't say that everything that she wrote is absolutely valid, but I can tell you this poem is as old as it purports to be. And I'll try to explain it as we go along, and we'll make copies of this available to anyone who would like to write us for it, and we'll provide that without charge. This is what Mother Shipton wrote. She said, "A carriage without horse shall go." Now remember that she was writing in 1449, and she's talking about the eventual development of the automobile in the 20th century. Disaster filled the world with woe. Mother Shipton lived in London, and at the time that she wrote this, the Black Plague, which took so many lives, was right around the corner. "In London, Primrose Hill shall be, its center hold a bishop's see." Now, there are two lines in the poem that I never understood, and I used to ask my dad what that meant, and he couldn't tell me. And then one day I was reading Winston Churchill's History of the English-Speaking People, and I believe it was about the 17th century, the mid-1600s, and he was talking about the fact that a Catholic center was put on a hill called Greenbrier Hill in London during that time, and there was a lot of opposition to it. And the name of that hill was later changed to Primrose Hill. And I realized for the first time what Mother Shipton had been writing about in the 1400s. She said, "Around the world men's thoughts shall fly, quick as the twinkling of an eye," relating to radio. "And wonders shall great wonders do, how strange and yet it shall come true. Then upside down the world shall be, and gold found at the foot of tree." She was obviously referring to Columbus' discovery of America. The world was going to be round, and gold found at the foot of tree occurred in the California Gold Rush. "Through towering hills proud man shall ride, nor horse nor ass move by his side. Beneath the waters men shall walk, shall ride, shall sleep, and even talk." We have the submarine. "And in the air men shall be seen, in white and black as well as green," the airplane. "A great man then shall come and go, for prophecy declares it so." There have been so many that we can't know who that was. "In water iron then shall float, as easy as a wooden boat." In the 1400s, that would have been heresy to think of iron floating, and yet we know it does. "Gold shall be found in stream or stone, in a land that is as yet unknown." Again, referring to California and America. "Water and fire shall wonders do, and England shall admit the Jew." In 1200 and something, Gil, Edward I drove the Jews out of England, and Cromwell brought them back in the 1600s. "The Jew that once was held in scorn shall of a Christian then be born." There's going to be some intermarriage between Jews and Christians. "A house of glass shall come to pass in England, but alas, alas, a war will follow with the work, where dwells the pagan and the Turk." I'm not sure how, but that relates to the Middle East and World War I, where the Turks were the occupants, and the pagan and the Turk. People who understand history better than I do tell me that that relates to World War I. Now listen to the next couple of stanzas, which absolutely fascinate me. She is writing from 1449 and reaching out and talking about the American Civil War in 1860, when America hadn't even been discovered yet in 1492. She says, the states will lock in fiercest strife and seek to take each other's life. The North shall thus divide the South. The eagle build in lion's mouth, the American eagle build in the mouth of the British lion. Then tax and blood and cruel war shall come to every humble door. 3 times shall lovely sunny France be led to play a bloody dance. Before the people shall be free, 3 tyrant rulers shall she see. 3 rulers in succession be, each sprung from different dynasty. You have Napoleon, Bismarck, and Hitler, who have ruled France before the people were free. Then when that fiercest fight is done, World War II, England and France shall be as one. The British olive next shall twine in marriage with the German vine. In World War I, the King of England and the King of Germany and the King of Russia were all cousins. Men walk beneath and over stream. Fulfilled shall be our strangest dream. All England's sons that plow the land shall oft be seen with book in hand. There's going to be free education, and even the poorest people can go. The poor shall now most wisdom know, and water wine where corn did grow. Irrigation is going to occur. Great houses stand in far-flung vale, all covered o'er with snow and hail. You have the experimental cities at the North and South Pole. And now a word of uncouth rhyme of what shall be in future time, for in those wondrous far-off days the women shall adopt a craze to dress like men and trousers wear, cut off their lovely locks of hair. They'll ride astride with brazen brow, as witches do on broomsticks now. Then love shall die, and marriage cease, and nations wane as babes decrease. Gil, that's already occurred in Russia during the Depression, but I wonder if we're also going into that time now. The women fondle cats and dogs, the men live much the same as hogs. Great difficult times on the face of the earth. Now we come to the last 2 stanzas, and this is why I read it today. And you can't help but be moved by this. In 1926, can you believe that, she reaches out and calls a day in our era, writing from 1449. In 1926, build houses light of straw and sticks. Most of the ceiling material that went into buildings at that time was made out of a straw-like material. For then shall mighty wars be planned, and fire and blood shall sweep the land. In 1926, Adolf Hitler was writing Mein Kampf, My Battle, when he was outlining how he expected to lead Germany against the world. Now remember, she's just mentioned 1926. But those who live this century through, in fear and trembling this shall do. Flee to the mountains and the dens, to bog and forest and wild fens. There's going to be a panic to get out of the cities. For storms shall rage and oceans roar. Remember what we've been talking about today? And Gabriel stands on sea and shore, and as he blows his wondrous horn, old world shall die, and new be born.
And that's the special way in which Dr. Dobson closed out these 2 days when this series first aired in 1982. And I do want to repeat that if you would like to have a copy of Mother Shipton's poem, we'd be glad to send it along to you upon request. Our address is Focus on the Family, Box 500, Arcadia, California, 91006.